the Cubs signing Jameson Taillon. I think that's a great place for us to start. 4-year deal, $68 million, comes out to a $17 million a year average. Truthfully, for a guy who last season threw 177 innings with a 3.91 ERA, granted, take wins for what they are, but he was 14-5 last year for the Yanks. Pitched really well last season, had a really good year. He's obviously had some solid years back in his days with Pittsburgh. Had a couple of rough years in there, and then obviously had Tommy John in 2020, which kept him out. But looked good, and now the Cubs have a guy. They got another guy to add to the rotation with the likes of Justin Steele and Marcus Stroman. And others. I say others because we're still kind of learning what the rotation is going to look like minus those two. But gentlemen, let's talk a little bit about what we think here about Mr. Shada Jameson here. And Tyler, with that note, I'll let you lead it off, man. How you feeling about the Taillon sign? Like you said, we almost broke it. We were still talking on here, you Juice and I, when the rumblings started coming out that he was going to be signing.
Well, dude, we've talked about it. We needed a pitcher, and Taillon was one of those guys that we mentioned that could be a possibility, and a guy that we would like to have. Like you said, he's familiar already with the NL Central. He's put up not like outstanding numbers, but quality numbers, and all those numbers you just talked about was in New York. He did that in New York, and I know people are, well, whatever. It's a different animal. New York's a different animal. Plus, you take away. He had probably half those starts at home. You've got the short porch there. Maybe he got robbed on a few runs a couple of times that maybe wouldn't have been runs in other places. So you know what? Jameson Taillon is number 3 guy for us. Probably number 3. I'll take that.
Yeah, absolutely. Joey, what are your thoughts on the signing right out the gate here?
Just like Tyler said, it's he's a warrior, I think, with, he's beaten cancer. That's kind of actually makes for a decent little reunion if they can pull the trigger on Trey Mancini, maybe too. Not reunion, but like, let's get the cancer survivors together. That would be kind of cool. Nice little storyline.
Two guys with a true, just immaculate willpower.
Absolutely, man. And then that you guys mentioned, the Tommy John, he's dealt through some things. He's not like a crazy strikeout getter, obviously. I kind of feel like maybe a little bit pricey on the pricier side for a guy that you're kind of locking in as a 3. But it seems to me that that's just the going rate right now. Like, that's just the going rate. Taijuan Walker and him seem like pretty similar pitchers. Walker got a little bit more on the dollar value per year. I believe it was like $1 million more than Taillon. So I don't know, man. The Cubs locked on him pretty early on. It sounds like Jed and Tommy Hotovy and those guys, they see an arsenal that they can work with. They see a guy that has, and it's pretty diverse. He's got like a 6-pitch mix. He doesn't really strike a ton of guys out, but he's got an elite walk rate. Like, this guy doesn't walk hardly anybody. He was like in the top 5 percentile of the league last season as far as walk rate goes. So, I'm really excited because I think that this kind of really bolsters the for sure guys that you can kind of pencil in if healthy. And even if it does look on the surface like it's a little bit pricey, that's just the going rate right now. Pitching is crazy. It's so hard to predict these contracts this season. Yeah. I think I've done a pretty decent job just like personally looking at like player markets positionally, like what they're going to get. And like Contreras, like I think he's probably going to get 18 million a season. And he got 17.5. He didn't quite get that 18 million, but it was close. And that's why I thought there was a shot that he accepts the qualifying offer. Now, Contreras took the guaranteed money, but pitching is flying off the charts as far as like Kenley Jansen. Like, look what Kenley Jansen got as a reliever. Like, and he's not in his prime. So, like, how valuable pitching is.
What was it, like 16 million a year?
I believe it was like 32 million
for 2
total
years. Yeah, yep. I mean, he's making almost what Taillon got paid as a reliever later in his career. And you know what? I mean, I personally look back at Taillon's career, and I really think between the cancer and the Tommy John, like, he kind of got robbed of his ascent. If you really look at the pattern that was happening, because Obviously, 2016 was his rookie season. He comes in at age 24, 104 innings as a rookie, 18 games started. Pretty solid. Only 85 strikeouts. I say only, still not a bad number, but and only 17 walks. Then in 2017, it creeps up a little more, right? 25 starts, 46 walks, only to 125 strikeouts. Very nice numbers. And then in 2018, he only had a 3.20 ERA, 2 complete games, 1 complete game shutout through nearly 200 innings, and only walked 46 guys to 179 strikeouts. Like, those are great freaking numbers. And then he only pitches 7 games, making 7 starts in 2019, is robbed of the 2020 season, and then really was making his way back in 2021. Still started 29 games for the Yankees. Didn't pitch as many innings, obviously, only 144 in the third innings. 140 strikeouts, so almost a strikeout per inning guy, only 44 walks. And then, Joey, to your point, last season, 32 starts, kind of felt like he got back to that point where he was in 2018, and 177 in the third innings, 151 Ks, only 32 walks with a 3.91 ERA. Again, like you said, in New York, and not just in New York from a market standpoint, the pressure of pitching in New York, playing in the AL East, which is arguably one of the craziest divisions in baseball on a year-to-year basis. So I really think that shows a lot of where Taillon is. And that was only his age 30 season. Like, you probably got 2 years of still his prime, right? Of Taillon in his prime years, 31, 32. And then you got 2 years where, yeah, maybe you're like, that's 17. You wish it was more like 12. But again, like Joey said, that's just the going rate right now for pitching. But I'll tell you what I think I like about it the most. I saw something a little bit earlier that strikes me that this is a guy that the Cubs targeted, right? And I think we're starting to understand that this new regime for the Cubs post Theo with Kantrovitz and Carter Hawkins in the front office, they know how to evaluate pitching. We've seen a lot of that, right? We've seen guys like Brandon Hughes come up. We've seen guys like Scotty Efros come up. We've seen guys like Justin Steele take that next step forward. This is a guy I think they really, really wanted, because according to what I heard, he said that only one team met with him in person, not over like a Zoom call, and that was the Cubs. So that goes a long way, right? Like, yeah, a lot of it's very efficient for teams to just be able to get on a Zoom call with guys, obviously, right? But like, in order to meet with them in person, that goes a long way, saying, hey, guy, we want you here. We want you to be a part of this. And I think he's going to fit really well with Stroh and with Steele and whomever fills out the last 2 rotation spots. So I think it is a really good get